Is there a foreclosure crisis coming to the housing market? And how is that going to affect home values? That is what we're talking about today. So let's dive in. As we're nearing the end of 2020, with still millions of homes in mortgage forbearance, it's easy to see why some people think that there is a foreclosure crisis looming in the housing market in the coming year. Hi, I'm Daphne Bousquet, a local realtor with Fayette and Peachtree City Homes and Lifestyles for Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Georgia Properties. Although I do not have a crystal ball, I do have access to a lot of resources, housing experts, and facts that I research on a daily basis so that I can keep my clients informed. After all, informed buyers and sellers make smarter decisions, and that is what this YouTube channel is all about. So be sure to subscribe and hit that bell so you can stay in the know. Before we head back to mortgages in forbearance and how that translates into foreclosures, let's go back to see what happened to the general housing market since the pandemic started. As you recall, when the country was shut down, the housing market and pretty much the entire economy went into a free fall. However, as soon as parts of the country were reopening, like we did here in Georgia, the housing market started coming back, and it has been rising ever since. So how is that possible? After all, the unemployment is higher than it was at the beginning of the year. Let's start by seeing what people did with their stimulus checks. And as you can see, only 29% used the money to pay bills, 35% used it to pay down debt, and 36% saved it. And that is reflected in the average FICO credit scores, which actually went up by 3 points in July. And since people are spending more time at home, your home becomes more important. And if you now use your home as your main office, your kids' school at least part of the time, and your staycation destination, you have a lot more requirements for your home. So people start looking for the home that meets all those requirements. Homes that have room for a home office, homes that have space for a schoolroom, homes that have a pool, homes that have a media room. Add that to all-time low interest rates and the normal spring market demand that moved to the summer, and it is easy to see why the housing market took off. Home values increased quite a bit over the last year. In fact, I had clients sell a house they bought only 2 years ago, and the value of their home increased by 25%. That is a huge gain in such a short amount of time. So all major housing forecasters had to adjust their forecasts. And where they forecasted doom and gloom only 6 months ago, they are now forecasting increases in home values. Zillow had forecasted a 3% drop in home values and are now forecasting a 7% increase. That is a swing of 10%. Of the major forecasters, only Zelman and Associates had to adjust their forecasts by less than 3%. However, there are not enough homes on the market to meet all this demand. And as Mark Fleming, the chief economist of First American, says, in the game of housing musical chairs, it is clear the housing market needs more chairs. And here in Fayette County, we have had between 400 and 500 homes on the market in the past few years. And as you may know, the last few years have been a robust seller's market. So that means there are more buyers than sellers. However, in the last few months, we have had fewer than 250 homes on the market. Homes are flying off the market, and the average days on market for homes sold over the last 6 months is only 38 days. How does this translate to the possible foreclosure crisis and what happened to homes in forbearance when it ended in September? The of the 5.8 million families in forbearance when the plan ran out, 41% either paid off their mortgage or were current on their mortgage. For another 2.8 million, forbearance was extended. Many banks made it super easy to just extend forbearance, so that does not mean that all of these people are in default or even behind on their mortgage. A good many of them are still paying their mortgage. For 267,000 families, forbearance expired and they are in loss mitigation, which means they are either making extra payments to catch up or are tacking those payments on at the end of their loan. And 54,000 families are currently delinquent. Now, of course, it is terrible for the people who are struggling to pay their mortgage. However, they have options. Unlike the crisis in 2008, where the majority of homeowners were upside down and owed more than their homes were worth, today's homeowners have an average of $177,000 in equity. Home prices are still going up and homes are selling fast. Banks are not looking to add a lot of houses to their portfolios. If a homeowner is in trouble, they have plenty of time to sell their house, pay off their mortgage, and still have a good amount of money left over. Homeowners have options. And as Ivy Zellman says, the likelihood of us having a foreclosure crisis again is about 0%. So if you are waiting to buy a new house until the prices drop in a foreclosure crisis, it doesn't look like that's going to happen anytime soon. Buy it now while interest rates are at an all-time low and home prices are projected to continue to rise. Click the link below to start your search. Whether you want a home with a pool, a home on a lake, a home with a basement, I got you covered. And if you found this video helpful, give it a like and subscribe to this channel. Ring that bell so that you never miss a video. They come out every week, so I see you next Monday.